Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to Aspen Snowmass Ski Resort in Aspen, Colorado. This is the heart of the Rocky Mountains, and they are at their most majestic in this area. The granite peaks jet over 14,000 feet in elevation and push back the starry host on crisp fall nights. The tall forests of pine, fir, and spruce accommodate large patches of quaking aspen trees, which turn gold in autumn's jubilee. This patchwork of color and slope is the medium of Mother Nature at her most artistic. The elk, deer, and moose mosey through greenery and trim any plants like furry gardeners equipped with primitive tools. The predators here include stealthy cougars, comical coyotes, bodacious bobcats, and bedeviled black bear boars. On the evening of October 23, 2023, a security guard, whom we will refer to as Jack, was performing his perfunctory duties. On any given night, Jack may be called to confront loud hotel guests or escort unauthorized visitors from the St. Regis Aspen Resort. This job had its exciting moments, but for the most part was relatively easy. The luxury hotel had recently been closed for renovations and historically is a hub for the rich and famous frequenting the town of Aspen. It's positioned right at the base of the ski resort and draws visitors with finer tastes, with its kitchen serving delicious fare. Aspen is an interesting town nestled among the high ridge of Rocky Mountains about 100 miles west of Denver. Although the big city sprawls and bustles with towering buildings and honking horns, Aspen is quite the opposite. The mountains around the town rise inside the city limits and surround it like a crumpled emerald blanket. Unlike other blankets, this one may not bring warmth, safety, and rest, but unexpected visitors who do surprising and harmful things. On this evening, Jack was in the process of marking off his list of procedures that he performed each night. The quiet hotel was eerie and offered him the expectation of a boring and slow shift. Just after 11 p.m., Jack received a call over his radio regarding something very unusual. The static-filled voice over the radio mentioned something about a black bear being seen near the kitchen area of the restaurant. He probably thought the bear had just been seen peeking into a door and had left on its own. I imagine he thought it was a curious cub or a juvenile and could easily be driven off by a little yelling and clapping of his hands. Jack wasn't equipped with a firearm as a security officer, as his first response to a crisis would have been to call the police after investigating it himself. He wasn't equipped with bear spray, as he was working in a hotel and not a mountain meadow. As Jack warily walked toward the kitchen, he gripped the only self-defense tool he had access to, his radio. Now, if you know anything about bear attacks, the most important information is what the victim doesn't know. Jack wasn't aware that a rather large black bear, estimated to be at least 350 pounds, had been drawn to the courtyard of the hotel. The scent of food and garbage was released into the evening air by doors propped open during renovations, doors that would have normally been closed. Jack was unaware that this hungry black bear had found a way into the kitchen and had already begun wandering the hallways in search of food. Jack left the security room as soon as the bear's presence was reported. He carefully watched well ahead of him to see if he could locate the bear as he approached the kitchen. Taking the corners widely allowed him to see further down the hallways and into rooms as he examined the floor for muddy paw prints. Now this bear attack was caught on video by the hotel's closed-circuit cameras. I've posted a link to this video on my Patreon account, which is linked below. If you'd like to check it out, it's pretty interesting and actually shows what is described below. Given it is the video of the attack, it wouldn't pass YouTube guidelines, so it wasn't included as part of this video. As Jack approached a hallway, he could see the footprints of a bear on the tile floor. The prints clearly went one way down the hall, then came back along the same path. The problem was figuring out if the bear was coming or going, and just where it had ended up. Jack proceeded from a prep room into a dishwashing room and glanced around. He didn't see the bear, and probably hoped he wouldn't see it. His eyes strained to search the shadows for a dark shape, but nothing materialized. Jack walked down a small hallway to enter another room, and just as he rounded a corner, he ran face to face with a short but very stout black bear. The light from the room behind Jack illuminated the face of the bear as it dashed toward him. As the bear quickly stood to its hind legs, Jack could see a beautiful hourglass-shaped patch of white fur in the middle of its chest. His mind processed mere fractions of a second like minutes. As he watched the right paw of the bruiser reach out toward him, Jack spun away to his left and back toward the door he came through. His mind may have been working faster than time passing, but his body was still bound by the laws of physics, matter, and energy, and there was simply no way he could escape the amount of energy the matter of the bear's paws was reaching out to impart upon him. As Jack spun to flee, the bear's massive right paw was heading toward him at a much faster and more powerful pace. The paw may have been intended for Jack's head, but where it struck him was along the right side of his back. In a blindingly quick swat, the black bear imparted enough force on Jack to send him flying over 10 feet across the kitchen floor, while completely tattering his suit jacket, shirt, and undershirt. The bear's claws cut through the flesh of Jack's back, leaving 5 distinct gashes, as well as a bear paw-shaped bruise. As Jack slid on his stomach across the kitchen floor, he clearly expected to receive follow-up bites, swats, and claw gashes. He lay prone and still for a split second, waiting to determine where he needed to defend from the bear's attack. In the CCTV footage, you can see the confusion and expectation of the bear on Jack's expression. The bear stood up on its hind legs while staring toward the human who had so suddenly materialized in front of him as he rounded the kitchen corner. Then the bear glanced back into the dark room behind it and disappeared into the safety of cover and distance. Once Jack realized the bear was not going to pounce on him to continue its attack, he pushed himself back to his feet and sprinted away from the kitchen area and that black bear that had so suddenly materialized in front of him as he rounded the kitchen corner. Jack immediately pressed the button on his radio and confirmed that there was definitely a large black bear in the kitchen area. The adrenaline of the blitzkrieg bear attack had dulled the pain from the gashes of the bear's claws. It was now starting to wear off a bit, and Jack knew he would need medical attention to help stave off infection. He used his cell phone to reach out for an ambulance to take him to medical help. I could find no summary of the medical assistance or number of sutures or stitches required to close Jack's wounds. The information indicated that Jack was released the next day after an overnight stay for observation in the hospital. Typical medical treatment after a bear attack is a heavy dose of antibiotics to fend off the infections, as well as stitches to close the layers of flesh penetrated by the bear's teeth and claws. The Colorado Parks and Wildlife Agency responded to the reports of Jack's run-in with the black bear just after it had occurred around 11 p.m. Monday night. They sent out a response team to the location, and while en route, the team observed 8 black bears walking the streets of Aspen, headed toward downtown. The response team arrived at the hotel just after midnight and immediately began scouring the area in search of the bear. They had a fairly unique description of the bear based on the hourglass-shaped patch of white fur on its chest. Its short but robust build also allowed the officers to eliminate other visiting black bears from their list of potential hotel kitchen invaders. Once they located the bear that fit the description, they were equipped and ready to tranquilize the bear. The problem with doing so in this location and time was that they were undermanned. They were concerned that they may lose the bear in the darkness and not be able to remove it. They decided to wait and return the next day to try again. On Tuesday evening, the officers returned to where they last saw the bear. This time, the game officers recruited the assistance of the Aspen Police Department, as well as the Pitkin County Sheriff's Office. The search party found the bear in Connor Park, near East Hopkins Avenue. After giving the bear the once-over to make sure he fit the description, they hazed the bear into a tree. A professionally aimed dart filled with tranquilizer put the bear to sleep, and it was recovered from the tree via a ladder on an Aspen fire truck just after 2 a.m. on Wednesday morning, October 25, 2023. Colorado Parks and Wildlife determined the bear to be a nuisance bear. Typically, bears in the area are allowed 2 strikes before being euthanized, but this bear's boldness and lack of fear of human beings in their dwellings was enough for them to decide to euthanize it. The large black bear was humanely put to sleep by CPW officers, and its carcass was taken for analysis. Following this incident, CPW issued a public warning encouraging residents to be bear aware. This statement is glaringly ironic given the incident occurred within a hotel kitchen, not a mountain trail. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I have a few questions for you. Given there were 8 black bears observed by officials the same night they were responding to a bear attack inside a hotel, what do you think needs to happen to make Aspen streets safer from bear attacks? How do you think this bear attack could have been avoided? In what ways could it have been worse? Can you describe a face-to-face encounter with a hungry black bear at your job? I will be glad to read and respond to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.